Time now for the women's vault final here at the Olympic Indoor Hall. Again, just like as it was for the men. 8 finalists qualifying on the first night of the games. And now a battle for gold, silver, and bronze. The gold medalist on vault in Sydney was Elena Zamolodchikova, and she tries to repeat that here in Athens.
She actually won 2 gold medals. In addition to her vault gold, she grabbed the floor exercise title in Sydney as well. She's a powerful gymnast.
Opens up her first vault with a Yurchenko double twist. The start value is a 9.8. What's important in the women's finals is you'll see 2 different vaults.
And then the scores are averaged.
She'll do a half turn onto the board and then hit this vaulting table as hard as she can, leave the horse, do a laid out somersault with 2 twists, just the slide back on the landing.
Elena proved that you can salvage your Olympics in the event finals. Remember, she was crying after she felt she let the team down and they only got the silver when they wanted gold so badly. Well, then, as Tim just mentioned, she won those 2 medals and she was smiling when Sydney was done.
More difficult vault here. And wow, she just barely gets her feet underneath her, slams them to the ground, does a great job on fighting for that landing.
Can't tell you how many vaults both Tim and I watched this young lady perform in the training sessions of her entire team. She was always the last one to leave the training.
It's a nice vault, much more difficult to get the power. She lands with her chest a little bit down by her legs. You should land completely upright. Look at that position right there, and the hop forward. They'll take that into consideration, but it should be a pretty good score.
She's going to average out to a 9.412, not what she qualified at, but the standard right now. Next, Wang Tiantian of China.
Of course, the Chinese, we've known them to always be very powerful and excel on uneven bars, balance beam, but this is an athlete that is actually very powerful, not only on vault, but also on the floor exercise. Really one of the first ones that I've seen.
And actually chosen for this Chinese team because of that.
First start value was a 9.8. Oh, out.
Oh, that's too bad. That is obviously a huge error. Not only this low landing, but the step forward. And to complicate that, she's also stepping outside of the white lines, so she incurs an additional deduction. Just not enough propulsion off of this vaulting table, and doesn't have enough height and rotation to get her body around enough. Was landed under-rotated, what we call it in gymnastics, and has to take that giant step forward and to the side. Kind of lands in a split there, Al.
So the disappointments continue for the Chinese women. 8.812. So she knows this second vault doesn't matter, except she will do it. This is the Olympics.
Much more difficult vault here. And a far better result. Once again, though, landing low with the chest towards the knees, in addition to the step, is a deduction. She should be completely upright, but you see how her body's kind of folded over there. That all gets factored in.
So that will be a very disappointing average of 9.081. Anya Hatch of the United States still to come in the women's vault final. The women's vault final, which continues now. The average of 2 vaults will eventually determine who's the champion. In a moment, we'll see Annia Hatch of the United States. This is her specialty. If the night of qualification was any indication, this is Monica Rousseau's vault to win or lose. She had a 9.65, which by far was the best score of anyone in the vault.
Of course, she comes to the Romanian team as a vault specialist, and as you mentioned, Al, the score just indicates what an explosive vaulter she is. Had the best landings amongst the group. This first vault is out of a 9-9.
A very nice job. She does take the big hop on the landing, but her body position throughout the vault was extremely straight. She doesn't land bent over. This should get a very good score.
As I'm listening to you guys and I see everything that's going on in the air in these vaults, they're very complicated, they're very intricate. Some of them still don't get a 10 start value. We just don't see anybody stick landings anymore, and I wonder if it's just because they've made this so complicated and hard.
Well, it is. It's so difficult, this vault, just to be able to get it around. You have to be going as hard as you can, and sometimes you over-rotate just a little bit like that, but a beautiful vault.
Best score so far, a 9.575. Tavian Bellew, the coach of the Romanian women. Back-to-back team gold medals.
And Al, it truly was in the team championships here in Athens. This Romanian, it was like, if the analogy would be like a basketball team not missing any shots. They just didn't make any mistakes. It was incredible.
This one is a 10.0 vault.
Oh! Bang!
Beautiful.
Well, this vault score should go up, which is going to mean that she'll be the leader with 4 gymnasts left to go.
Different entry. There's the round off onto the board, the back flip, 2.5 twist, blind landing, super difficult. That's a great landing.
Yeah, this is a great ball.
9, 7, 3, 7.
Wow.
Try catching that.
Women's vault is the lowest scoring event of all of artistic gymnastics, both men and women.
A combined average of 9.656. Still to come, the transplanted Cuban representing the United States, Anya Hatch. But first, Anna Pavlova. Carly Patterson hit her final routine. It reduced Anna Pavlova to tears. It knocked her out of the medals.
In the all-around competition.
Is that a stick or not?
No stick. You can try to disguise it and wrap it up any way you want, but her legs moved when she landed. You got to show stationary, stable position after the landing.
And the difficulty for that first vault was a 9.8. So she does the round off entry onto the board, the back flip. It's just 2 twists. Looks for the ground.
Notice the legs coming apart slightly in the air and step back.
Not a stick.
9.425 on the first vault for Pavlova of Russia. She does another vault that good, it'll put her in second place.
This is actually a vault that I don't believe Anna trains all that much. She'll go round off, half turn onto the horse right here. Very nice. Wow.
She needed that one. When you're doing a vault with a start value of 9.8, you need to do as much as you possibly can to stick that landing to maximize on those points.
And again, that's her mom, one of the Russian coaches.
Boy, that was great. Just rocked the landing. She does a half turn onto the board and then onto the horse, and then bang, don't move.
Anna gets a 9.525. An average of 9.475. She's in silver position right now. you add up all the vaults, Anya Hatch's Olympic experience is going to be much less than a minute. To me, it's just weird and crazy to even think about. She was put on the American team to be a vaulting specialist. Came through for herself and the team. A 9.418 on vault to qualify for this chance to win a medal.
Incredible she's even here, tearing her ACL in preparation for the World Championships last summer. Oh, it was a nice vault, but not only does she take a step, she kind of slides as well.
Anya Hatch has her husband there as a coach, Alan, and Anna Pavlova has her mom. So a family thing going on.
Of course, the start value on this vault, a 9.8.
I believe this is the only time we'll see that particular vault. Sukahara with 1.5 twists.
A lot was made about actress Pamela Anderson coming to the aid financially of Mohini Bardwaj. How about the woman who said to Anya and Richard, if you're going to go to the Olympics, you need a better gym.
So she built them a gym.
I mean, that
was Nancy D'Angelo, and they call her their guardian angel.
There's Alan prepping the board.
This is the first time that Alan's been allowed up on the Olympic podium. He was watching Anya from the stands in the team competition.
Oh boy.
Well, a beautiful vault.
Whoa! Yeah! That's okay, no matter what. You did something there.
You sure did.
Wow.
You kept that, girl.
This was the vault that Anya nailed in the team all-around final. Yurchenko double twist. Look at the height. It's beautiful. Just comes down a little bit heavy with her chest.
Remember, Anya had retired and then heard a story about a former teammate who had been pregnant who came back to the sport, and so she decided that she could do it, and she did. And that's what husband Alan is talking about. How about this? A 9.562 for an average of 9.481. Anya Hatch is in the silver medal position with only 2 vaulters to go, and those are going to be the 2 longest vaults of her life. In the USA.
Every American.
Anya Hatch is in second place with 2 vaulters remaining. All she has to do is hope that one of their scores is lower than hers. Here's Coralie Chacon of France.
I guess it's no surprise that we're talking about many of these athletes being vaulting specialists. This young lady was 6th at last year's World Championships.
Oh, and that is disastrous right there. And it's what a shame, because she looked like not only was she going to do a great vault, it looked like she was going to stick the landing, and then at the last second just loses her balance.
This is a bad score. Anya Hatch is going to get a medal.
I don't know how they can give this a good score, Al. You show weight on your hands, and it should be a 5/10 deduction.
So now Anya Hatch has to figure out what this all means for her. And there's the leader, Monica Rousseau. She's maybe just deliriously happy at the thought of clinching this gold medal. And now Coralie Chacon is not going to vault again, and that is the signal for Anya Hatch that she is going to get a medal. It looks as though Chacon is limping a little bit and now despondent. So for Anya Hatch, at least the bronze. It all comes down to, yes, a year ago her knee was in tatters, and now she's winning an Olympic medal. It all comes down to Alona Kavasha. She is the last one who can change the color of what Anya now has, and that's a silver.
It's going to be very tough for Alona to make this happen. She's got one very good vault and a slightly weaker second vault.
Very nice. Only gymnast in these finals to do this vault, a handspring front somersault with a full twist. Very, very difficult.
Yeah, start value's out of a 9.8, but I believe her second vault, the start value goes down to a 9.7. The difficulty, of course, on this vault is the landing. It's the blind landing, a little bit of a form break in the air. In my opinion, a large step on the landing.
The person you really think about now is Anna Pavlova. Pavlova brought to tears by Carly Patterson by being knocked out of the medals, and she is vulnerable again in the same spot. Now a 9.312 on that first vault for Kavasha. So she would have to really ramp it up here to rock Anna Pavlova's world again. But it does come down to the last vault.
A great landing, but as Elfie said, start value is low.
And Octavian Bellou and Monica Rousseau know that vault is not going to do it. They are going to add another Olympic gold medal to the already rich Romanian legacy, and Anya Hatch has a silver medal smile. And there are no tears on the cheeks of Anna Pavlova of Russia this time. She is going to get a medal out of this. She knows that. Kavasha's score is going to be a 9.312 on average. Only those two know how much they sacrificed at that Hilltop Deva training camp to earn this. Now, how about this? Anya Hatch, 5 vaults in these Olympic Games, about 6 seconds apiece. That means in about 30 seconds, she earned herself a silver medal. Monica Rousseau and Anna Pavlova join her on the podium.
Cuban-born Anya Hatch, the oldest member of the U.S. women's gymnastics team at age 26, was named to the roster for one reason and one reason only. She's a superior vaulter, and she goes home to West Haven, Connecticut with 2 silver medals. Plenty more gymnastics in our next segment, but first, let's take a look at...
And now at the Olympic Indoor Hall, the 8 best uneven bar specialists in gymnastics, starting with China's Li Ya. Courtney Kupets of the United States and Taryn Humphrey have qualified here.
Well, we've been watching Li Ya for a long time, and both Elfie and I have said that she could definitely have greatness at these Olympic Games.
What makes her so wonderful is all this high bar work right here. Gorgeous release skill. Judges are looking for handstand positions that land in that 12 o'clock.
Just fantastic body line and toes, totally open shoulders. So far, so great.
Big dismount. Oh.
Now, if you look at the qualifying scores, this is really going to be a close competition if they translate into this final.
Li Ya tells us that she has hopes of winning 2 individual gold medals, which is very unusual for the Chinese delegation. Most of them are very, very quiet and very reserved. Beautiful full spin on one arm, unbelievable extension.
And of course, the judges are looking for great amplitude on the release skills as well. But when you're in the Olympic finals and you're the first athlete up setting the stage for the rest of the field, you have to stick your landings because this is a giveaway right here.
Very unusual dismount, though. A piked half in, half out, so she does a half twist on both of the 2 flips.
A little bit of a delay so far for her score. Daniela Safroni will be next, then Courtney Kupets of the United States with a very special guest, the all-around gold medalist Carly Patterson, who looks like she's come out here with a mission. She's got the chalk in her hand, and that's a tremendous sign of sportsmanship and being teammates and friends, and someone on the U.S. coaching staff had to step aside to allow Carly this place on the floor. You just can't walk out there if you feel like it. 9.562 for Lee Ya, so much lower than what she had in qualifying. This is Daniela Sofroni from the gold medal winning Romanian women.
Really, by far, the best uneven bar worker on this Romanian team. If there was one place where the Romanians could have thrown their title away, it was on uneven bars. Their style is a little bit conservative, but she has a nice look about her. And
that's a big mistake.
that will probably take her out of the medals.
I was going to say she was by far the best Romanian gymnast, 5th in the all-around, of course, the only one to compete in that competition. What made her stand out from her teammates on this event was the variety of skills that she chose, like this one.
Beautiful.
So that stall pretty much undid Daniela Sofroni.
Well, it should. After the scores that we've seen so far, it was a nice exercise, but when you have a mistake like that in the Olympic finals, it pretty much doesn't.
Next up, from Gaithersburg, Maryland, Courtney Kupets. I told you how amazing it is that she came back from a torn Achilles tendon to even get to these Olympic Games. Things didn't work out for her in the all-around, but even after she got through it and just competed and wasn't a factor in the medals, she said immediately, I'm glad I did it. And chalking up the bars for her is Carly Patterson. That is very cool.
Well, these kids, they train together all the time. They really are very, very close friends. They've been on a number of teams, traveled all over the world together.
More importantly, they all know how they like their bars prepared.
Carly's got help. She's out there with Kelly Hill. But some negotiating had to go on for this Carly Patterson appearance.
Now, each gymnast likes the bars a little
Telling
bit different.
Carly how to do it.
You missed a spot. The Chinese gymnasts like the bars very wet. They actually use a big spray unit that's got just flies on the bars. The American gymnast, as you're seeing right here, she likes a lot of chalk on the bars as she gets a hug and kiss from her longtime coach, Kelly Hill, who has been on this Olympic stage many times before, all the way back to 1992 with Dominique Dawes.
And Courtney has been on a world championship stage before in the 2002 Worlds. Courtney won this event.
Basically shocked a ton of people, including Svetlana Khorkina.
One of the reasons why she's in this event finals is because of the great amplitude that she has on her release skills.
Nice stalter work.
Flies over the bar.
And hear Carly talking her through the routine in the background.
And watch this one right here. Super high.
Wow, she barely got her hands on the bar on that one, though. Oh, boy.
Was going for the stick.
Was going for the stick. Landed a little bit bent over and kind of locked her legs out, which makes it very hard to not move those feet. But a very nice exercise. I tell you, though, the second release on her Tkachev, she didn't really rotate her body as much forward as she should have, and looked like she almost didn't get her hands on the bar.
What happened inside the routine, there's the release skill that Tim was referring to. Stretched it out right to the bitter end. But great, great amplitude.
Yeah, she flies. It's wonderful. You see that nice open shoulder angle. It's very, very critical. This dismount, though, it's a double back somersault with a full twist.
9.637. Courtney Kupets is going to take the lead with 5 gymnasts to go. Taryn Humphrey of the United States will go last. Kwang-sun of North Korea. North Korea qualified 2 athletes into the finals tonight.
They work very similarly to the Chinese. Beautiful full spin right into a front somersault. Same release down to the low bar we saw from a gymnast earlier. Well, it was a very nice routine. The step on the landing, but tremendous amplitude. Like I said, she swings similar to how the Chinese work, with tremendous shoulder flexibility. Without it, these type of elements are just impossible.
Interesting spot that Young Kwang-sun choose to sit in, right between Carly and Courtney.
And this full spin, very difficult. She'll do another one.
Just a little bit offside there, but pulls it back into the release skill.
Nice job.
And she gets a 9.6 that will place her in second place behind Courtney Kupets, who she's sitting next to.
Boy, I tell you, if Courtney Kupets comes away with a medal, that would be Anya Hatch and Courtney Kupets, who a year ago suffered, for many people, career-ending injuries, but they're both back at the Olympic Games. They both already got a team medal, and looks like the chances are good that both of them are going to go home with an individual one at this point.
So you've got Courtney Kupets sitting in gold position with a French woman, a Russian, and another American teammate still to come. Emily Lepenet of France. Boy, what Emily did on the uneven bars during the all-around got everybody's attention. All of a sudden, everyone was like, what's France?
It was unbelievable.
It was that good.
Yeah, this is an athlete that can actually win an Olympic gold medal right here. It's going to be very difficult, but she has the big skills
Just gotta keep good form on them. First combination comes right here. Watch this, super hard. Oh, incredible. She also has a super difficult dismount. The way she does it, almost 2 twists on the last round.
Tried to turn to the judges very quickly.
Yeah. So remarkably hard, but obvious deductions, the legs coming apart on that major release skill, but it's so hard, Al. It's actually originated by a countryman of hers from a long time ago, Jacques Deff. Very, very difficult. And the dismount, 2 flips, 2 twists, but she does almost all of the twists on the second flip.
Well above the high bar. Had plenty of time to open up and stick.
But we have seen her stick that here. Too bad, though. Not today.
Svetlana Khorkina begins her preparation on the uneven bars. Last time she'll do that in an Olympic Games. And Lepenet of France takes the lead. When we come back, Svetlana Khorkina and Taryn Humphrey of the United States. Courtney Kupets in second place. Khorkina is set to go, and we will be too after this. Never before has Svetlana Khorkina come to an Olympic Games thinking that anything less than gold would be satisfactory. We saw that in Sydney, but we have seen dramatically altered states of mind from the Russians. When they took a silver, when they took a bronze, when she took the bronze, it was okay. They embraced it. They cried with joy at what they were able to do. We've shown you the pictures of the crumbling training center and what's been left of what was built up so long ago when it was the Soviet Union. She and Leonid Arkayev, at the age of 64, came here to these Olympic Games, maybe not even knowing if they could qualify as a team, but there is no doubt that Svetlana Khorkina can still do great gold medal things on the uneven bars.
And she is in a perfect order, second to last, to be able to do this. She has watched all the routines ahead of her. This is the position she feels she is best at, a little bit of pressure.
Just a ton of original elements. Watch this transition to the high bar.
Very difficult.
Oh, and that.
Unbelievable. She was getting all set for the dismount.
She actually just had one more element, major element, her own skill. Amazingly.
So wait a minute, she messed up a skill that is named after her.
Not only named after her, but she introduced it on the uneven bars to the world. It's called a Khorkina. She's got a bunch of them.
And everybody else is doing it now.
Courtney Kupets, who's presently in second place, does it in her exercise. Taryn Humphrey, who we'll see, also does it.
And that means that Courtney Kupets is going to get a medal.
Svetlana Khorkina is a two-time Olympic champion on uneven bars.
It's obviously not the way she wanted to say goodbye to the Olympic Games.
That was shocking. She just didn't get her hand on the bar with good enough support, and when that happens, you can't push away from the bar and continue your swing. She'll do 1.5 turns here, and look at that hand. It just doesn't get on the bar quick enough, and there's no way that she can recover. She was supposed to go over the bar, let go, do a half turn and catch, but without the momentum that she needed on that, impossible.
Courtney Kupets in second place right now, with only her teammate Taryn Humphrey to come. She's going to go home with more than the team medal that the women got. Khorkina gets an emotional kiss from Anna Pavlova. A medal earlier tonight, an 8.925. An unthinkable score for Svetlana Khorkina on uneven bars. Well, we're going to have a new Olympic gold medalist on uneven bars. Svetlana Khorkina will not repeat. Taryn Humphrey had a qualifying score of 9.625. If she repeats that score, she will medal as well as Courtney Kupets.
Taryn has had a fantastic Olympic Games, has been consistent throughout all the competitions, all the events. She could medal right here.
Here is the skill that Svetlana Khorkina had to omit from her exercise. Now she'll do a couple of releases in a row. This one, beautifully tight form. She'll transition to the low bar now. Well, it's the dismount, Al, and if she sticks it, it's going to be close.
Oh, boy. What an Olympics for Taryn Humphrey.
There's her coach, Al Fong.
So anything above a 9.6, and it's United States, silver and bronze. Who gets the silver and who gets the bronze now is up to the judges. And it's a 9.662. Taryn Humphrey, you're an Olympic silver medalist. And Courtney Kupets will take the bronze. But the real breakthrough medal comes for French gymnastics. From the time these Olympics got started, everyone was noticing what Emily Le Pen was doing on the uneven bars, and now she holds the gold medal. One of the surprising things is that Svetlana Khorkina, who fell off the uneven bars, is not even on the podium. She's had some strange looks at the judges, but she can't blame them for this time.
The games of the 28th Olympics.
The women's balance beam can be the most nerve-wracking of apparatus, and tonight it will be determined who wins gold, silver, and bronze. On the first night of qualification, the top 8 women put scores up that advance them here. They'll go once, and that single score which is determined will decide who wins the medals. Upcoming, we will see Courtney Kupets of the United States. And we will also see Carly Patterson in a few minutes. Now, Svetlana Khorkina, who is a teammate of Anna Pavlova, did not honor her great career when this week she said that she thought Carly Patterson's gold medal in the women's all-around was fixed, and that she didn't win simply because she wasn't American. Tim, I'm not so sure, and Elfie as well. That's the kind of message you want to pass along as the leader of Russian gymnastics to this new young generation of Anna Pavlova.
It's really unfortunate. Svetlana Khorkina has so much to be proud of and has been applauded and cheered throughout her career, and that's an unfortunate way for her to go out.
And it's also been very clear at these Olympic Games that this new generation has been a great challenge for her, including Anna Pavlova, her teammate.
In that very same all-around, Pavlova was brought to tears when Carly Patterson's score knocked her out of the medals.
Well, that was an unfortunate mistake. She was supposed to connect those 3 skills. She breaks that connection and therefore will lose some deductions.
Such a classical looking gymnast, though. Beautiful body line, excellent carriage, great hands.
Oh, she's had great variety of skills in this beam routine, taking a lot of risk. Triple twist dismount, that was beautiful.
Really happy to see this, Al. She's done a tremendous job at these Olympic Games, has been plagued with inconsistencies in the past and really never risen to the level that she was capable of, but she's been great here.
It's her mom.
And you know, balance beam is about connecting combinations. That's what it's become in this past 4 years. This is a very difficult skill, and right here, breaks form, has a little bobble, and was supposed to connect it to 2 other skills.
But the dismount was fantastic. This is a triple twist. Maybe doesn't get it all the way around and the legs slightly apart, but that right there, hold on to that landing, don't move. Great stuff.
Makes everything look a little bit better. Pavlova got a medal yesterday in the event finals, and that smile of hers was beautiful. Still to come, Courtney Kupets from Maryland. She won an individual medal. She also won with the team, of course. Like the men, the women won silver in the team competition. There was some question whether Courtney could go tonight. Remember, in the team competition, she was pulled from beam because of a leg soreness issue. And tonight, Taryn Humphrey actually was warming up, so we had last-minute speculation about whether Courtney would go. Well, she's out there. She is going to do it. And the score of Pavlova's is taking forever.
If the judges are out of range, if the scores are separated by too much, they get together and talk it over, or sometimes there's a start value discussion. But there, 9.587, not a bad score.
Next up is Alexandra Georgiana Eremia. The Romanian women have maybe beyond their own expectations. I don't get tired of seeing Octavian Bellew, the coach, hug his gymnasts after they win gold.
And they've trained so well. They've trained so hard. In fact, the 2 Romanians on the event finals here went 1 and 2 at the European Championships. Alexandra was second on balance beam.
Very much a family. They live together, train together, eat together. And when they won at the end of the team finals, a special moment.
They celebrated together.
They sure did. And you know, I've said it before, but it certainly needs to be mentioned again. Their competition in the team finals was remarkable. There are always mistakes, but it's like the Romanians made none.
Getting set for a very, very difficult dismount combination into a triple twist. That made it around. What's also remarkable about this team is the fact that Octavian Bellew only had 2 years to build this team. He said typically he has 4, but there were other athletes who had retired right after the Sydney Olympics. Here's the combination, switch leap, 1 arm back handspring into a 2-foot layout. That will get some bonus points. Beautiful.
Nice dismount here. Done in combination with a couple of back handsprings in front of it makes it even more difficult into this triple full. Just the step back on the landing, but very strong exercise. Octavian Bellou not on the floor right now. Mariana Vitan is also one of the head coaches.
But Octavian never watches balance beam anyway. He gets too nervous.
The 9-7 on balance beam is a big, big number. Still to come in this beam final, the 2 Americans. Later, Carly Patterson, the all-around gold medalist. But next, that woman from Gaithersburg, Maryland, Courtney Kupets, a final Olympic competition. And herself, she has just been so great in showing us through her smile and what she says about feeling the Olympic experience. It's turned out to be a 2-medal experience so far for her, a silver and a bronze individually. And she gets a 9.55 in qualifying to get into the final. She'll want to do better than that if she's thinking of medaling here.
Well, remember, there was some question as to whether or not Courtney would even compete this evening. She was pulled from the team finals because of a leg injury.
And that leg injury had nothing to do with the fact that she already had come back from a torn Achilles tendon. Very easily could have ended her career.
They were skills like this that actually bothered Courtney, along with others in this beam set. She said, I know it sounds strange. I mean, the tumbling isn't an issue. It's just certain skills like this one. That was one of the moves that she cited as bothering her right leg.
But all these athletes, they learn to obviously deal with the little aches and pains, and this is the Olympic finals, and you have an opportunity to walk out on this stage just one more time. I don't know how you can't get through that.
This was another combination that she said
Right on.
didn't
that
feel
was great.
so well. Watch how she sets up for this dismount. She'll just plant her feet and then move right down the beam in combination. Ended the routine very well.
Well, she's a fighter. She's really a tough kid.
She is. Kelly Hill, her coach, has had a lot of them. Dominique Dawes and Elise Ray. She is part of a long lineage of tremendous gymnasts at Hills.
That right leg takeoff, Tim, into the aerial front. She said the split action, the takeoff. This was one skill she was concerned about.
Kind of gives you a perspective of...
The heel on one side, the toes on the other.
And look at those toes.
Please.
They are just like grabbing on, latching onto that beam. It helps to have long toes on the balance beam.
Carly Patterson will come a little bit later. It's a great scene yesterday when Carly Patterson had on coach's gear and she chalked up the uneven bars for Courtney Kupets. Led to a medal. And Courtney gets 9.375. Does it seem a little low to you?
Well, she had that one bobble in the middle and actually only started at a 9.8, Al.
The biggest score in qualifying was put up by Catalina Ponor of, yes, the Romanians.
And you know, Al, she's coming into this competition with a lot of reputation. Silver medalist last year at the World Championships. She is current European champion on this event, so she's got a couple medals to show for.
In all the competition, in all the training, the podium training, the warm-up, I have not seen her make any mistakes on balance beam. She has been absolutely perfection in motion. Thing that's so great is she works with such aggression. She doesn't take a long time to set up for her element. She moves right from one to another.
And she has a great rhythm along with the variety of skills. Makes it look very, very easy.
And this is nice how she drops down.
Yeah, Tim, right here, you know, she's not getting any extra points on a skill like that, but she takes a little bit of risk and, you know, sets herself apart from the rest of the crowd, from the rest of the athletes. Should be a big, big dismount. Double back with a full twist.
Oh my! Wow!
You don't need to know a thing about gymnastics to know beautiful when you see it.
And that was magnificent, and capped off with a full twisting double somersault that she just drills into the mat.
Some of the women look like they're fighting the bar. She looks like she's hugging it. And there is Bellew. He came out.
In the first day of competition, we didn't know if she would do her big dismount or a more conservative one.
Look at how diverse this tumbling pass is. Changing direction, one arm, then into a layout. I mean, there's so much happening in those skills. It was beautiful.
9.787. And that 9.787 is the highest score we've seen. The Romanians keep on rolling. Every Olympic gold medal champion loves a challenge, and Carly Patterson has a big one. Up on the beam next. Teenager Carly Patterson in these Olympic Games, the all-around gold medalist. Her destiny, most likely, a Wheaties box and much, much more. She has watched as Catalina Ponor of Romania has put up a 9.787. That's better than she even qualified. Carly Patterson had a 9.725 on the night of qualifying and really, really delivered for herself on the night of the all-around, because that event changed on this apparatus.
And she's capable. She can get into that 9.7 range. It's possible for her, but she needs to be perfect. She needs to stick a landing. She needs to get through a major acrobatic element right off the top of the balance beam, but it is possible.
And the skill that Tim was speaking of is coming up right here. She'll change direction. It's a blind landing. Solid.
Watch how late she lands on the beam.
Very different
Like
rhythm.
a cat, yeah.
Very different rhythm. There's a calmness about her work.
Bellew staring. Evgeny Marchenko, Carly's coach, cheering like crazy.
This is the moment, though, right here. Arabian double front somersault.
Most difficult dismount being done here in this competition.
Wow! Wow!
She knew before she got up there that one little bobble could doom things. Was that little hop at the end enough to do it?
This was really the first test in Arabian skill. She has done this so well since she's been here. Look at that, blind landing, huge risk on that element, perfect.
And then, of course, the dismount out of a back handspring. She'll twist right away and then do two flips forward, spot the ground really late. Oh, and just the smallest little hop.
A 9.775, that will miss by 12 thousandths of a point from catching Catalina Ponor. But Carly Patterson is going to get a medal tonight, and well deserved. Just enormous pressure. One last competitor to go, Li Ya of China. In qualifying, she had a 9.6.
She's great on balance beam, and actually actually the only Chinese gymnast at these games that very confident thought she could win 2 individual gold medals, one of them on the balance beam.
So there's no doubt that that little jump at the end of Carly's routine cost her the gold.
I would say most definitely it did, and you know, I have to agree with him. Carly's routine was fantastic, but she did.
Oh. Such a shame, because we talk so often about how wonderful they are on uneven bars, balance beam, but we're really not getting a chance to see exactly what they're capable of doing here.
And the Romanians do it again. Day after day in these Olympic Games, we've seen their gold medal celebrations. What an amazing duel it was between 2 great gymnasts. Catalina Ponor, with all the judges' eyes looking at every single thing that she did with every finger and every toe and every body move, separated the gold and the silver medal here tonight at the Olympic Hall by 12 thousandths of a point. You can't get much closer than that. And so the Olympics for Carly Patterson is over. She was expected to be a big star at these games, and she was.
No questioning that.
Next on the menu from the Olympic Indoor Hall, it's the women's floor exercise final. 8 women qualifying in after the first day of gymnastics competition for the women, and now it comes down to one last performance to see who's going to win gold, silver, and bronze. Representing the United States later will be Mohini Bardwaj, but right now we start off with Diane dos Santos of Brazil.
And this, I tell you, Al, could be one of those moments. Way back in 1972, I remember turning my television set on and watching a girl named Olga Korbut captivate the world. This young lady has a lot of those same qualities.
Whoa! That's a tenth of a deduction.
That gets a huge ovation here. Tim, you get the feeling maybe on that first pass she just had too much energy.
Well, actually, she even made something that was so difficult, more difficult for this Olympic final. Tries to do an Arabian double front in the laid out position. This is brand new for the Olympic Games. Have never seen this performed.
Wow.
and just has too much energy, takes those steps forward and out of bounds.
We watched her in practice. She was super, super bouncy on the floor. I'm not at all surprised.
And she'll score well below what she did in qualifying, a 9.3.75. Next up from Spain, Patricia Moreno. Spain has already won a gold medal tonight. Gervasio de Ferrer. Maybe there's some Spanish magic here.
Horacio won that gold medal on the vault.
Alfie, what'd you think?
She does tons of difficulty in her tumbling passes. Actually does a 3.5 twist, the only one in the competition. But, you know, visible errors on the landings on all her tumbling.
But, you know, sometimes the most difficult looking things aren't the most difficult. This is really hard. Very few gymnasts in the world have ever even tried this. This is 3.5 times around. It's just so difficult to get your body to twist that many times. But once again, like we saw with Dos Santos, she shows a little bit of lack of control on the landing.
See how it compares to the 9.375, which is where the bar was set. And a 9.487, good enough to put Patricia Moreno of Spain in the lead. But we have gymnasts to come who have scored above 9.6 in qualifying. One of them is Cheng Fei. She scored a 9.65 to qualify.
And this is really just a wonderful routine. She puts everything together. A double twisting, double somersault at the beginning.
And
Beautiful.
Tim, the music just makes you sort of turn and look up and say, hey, who's going? This is unbelievable, this performance.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
She put a smile on my face. You know, she's such a little girl, but when she's out there on the floor, she looks so tall. Her performance was big. The music was just wonderful. It drew me in.
Incredible tumbling, starting off with this double twisting double somersault. Very, very few people in the world capable of doing this. I believe she's the only athlete at these Olympic Games doing a double twisting double somersault. Little bit off on the landing, but wow, can she tumble? She dances. She's great.
9.412 for Cheng Fei of China. That will put her in second place. And some whistles cascading down. The fans here at the Olympic Indoor Hall didn't like how long it took.
That score's too low, Al.
You saw her shaking her head, and I couldn't agree more.
Still to come from the United States, Mohini Bardwaj, surprisingly the only member of the U.S. team in this floor exercise final. Already having won a gold medal on the night, Catalina Ponor of Romania, and as good as she can be on the balance beam, is as graceful as she can be in floor exercise.
And now, as I said on balance beam, what she has coming into floor exercise is reputation. Once again, she has a couple of medals. Last year, silver from the World Championships. This year, the gold medal at the Europeans. Four solid tumbling passes. That's going to be your new leader.
Well, if after these Olympic Games, Romanian gymnastics had an IPO sort of like Google, through the roof.
Very powerful full twisting double somersault. She also does it in pike position, keeping her legs straight.
Of course, coming down to the final tumbling pass, this being her fourth one in the routine. Just a double pike. All she had to do was plant her legs onto the floor. Not go out of bounds. Not a problem.
And she has been duly rewarded with a 9.75. They just have not been handing out numbers like that on floor exercise. Another Romanian celebration is imminent. Let's get in the head now for a moment of Mohini Bardwaj. Making the Olympic team was not a guaranteed thing. Getting to the point where she can star for herself, forget it. Now, with the scores that have come so far, she can legitimately think of a medal. Biggest roar so far. She'll keep that one.
She sure will. What an Olympic Games. What a story. This young lady barely made it out of the first round of competition and has gotten better and better and better.
And can you believe that she qualified into this day of competition? She led the team off in the first day of team competition. It was a huge score, not to mention a huge opening tumbling pass. Everybody just kind of gasps when they see Mo do this.
Double laid out somersault, 2 flips, completely in a stretched position, and then she spots the ground, bang, punches that floor, changes direction.
That was the best one we've seen from her.
Great, great stuff.
But it's not scored greatly. Mohini Bardwaj gets a 9-3-1-2. She doesn't love it, and it's another score the crowd doesn't understand.
Well, what they have to understand is the start value of her routine was out of a 9.7, so that's the maximum. But I actually thought that was just a little bit too low.
Looked like Mohini was counting the deductions that she thought she should get with Coach Chris Waller, but she's going home with an Olympic team silver medal. And that's a pretty darn good story. A nice finish to that one. Here's Alina Kozic, a teammate on the men's side, has already made it a great night for her country.
Whoa.
Well, very ambitious first tumbling run, and we've seen her do that so well here in Athens, but you take the big risk and sometimes you sit down 0.5 of a point, and she was out of bounds as well. An additional deduction.
Well, Elfie, off of that routine, Alina Kozic won't figure in the medals. It's too bad. A lot more was expected of her.
Oh, absolutely. She was the all-around winner at the European Championships and never lived up to that title here in Athens.
And now we're going to get another glimpse at the Romanian depth. Oana Ban, who was part of the gold medal winning team here for Romania, had a leg injury, and she's out. And so Sofroni, Daniela Sofroni, steps in for her. She's obviously good enough to challenge for a medal, but what about the gold that's currently being held by her teammate?
I think that score is far too high for her to achieve, but she should factor in to a medal, as you said.
Kozic in the eights. And boy, Tim, Octavian Bellou has had the magic touch in back-to-back Olympics. 9 medals combined now for the men's and the women's. He's responsible for the women's success. How do you summarize what he's been able to do?
That's remarkable. It's truly remarkable, and with a Romanian going last at these Olympic Games, it's fitting. They only have 9, but with her going, my guess is they're going to end up with 10.
You know, in back-to-back Olympics, they've been the dominant team on the women's side. You could say dynasty, but dynasties usually have athletes that carry through. This is a totally different group with the same success, and even at a different level here. got to be a short list of deductions.
You know what's amazing to me is she was just an alternate last year at the World Championships. 5th in the individual all around here. No question this routine will get a medal.
I concur.
Catalina Ponor, her teammate, has a 9.75. Silver right now is Patricia Moreno of Spain. And that's a 9.487. So if she finishes between those two, and the Romanians think they've done it, they gather for a team hug another time.
Been a lot of Romanian hugging going on, deservedly so.
Well, how about this? They're going to win a gold here. As a team, they could have won 6, max. They're going to win 4. And there's Andrea Radicon, who was part of that Romanian team in Sydney. And I'd love to hear what she is saying back to her homeland about what has happened here in the sport of gymnastics. She's going to fight, Radicon is, to get her gold medal back from Sydney. And I think she's got a pretty good case for that. The drug that she took, which was a cold tablet, is no longer even illegal. But I don't think she's thinking about that right now. It looks as though she's just clapping with pride that she's part of this. She's part of what's been built in the last decade in Romanian gymnastics. No medal for Mohini Bardwaj, but she's done a lot of smiling here in Athens. Back to California she goes with that team silver Olympic medal, and the Romanians go back home on about a 2-hour flight with a lifetime of stories about what they did here in Greece.